Good everyone, welcome to this video. Today it's a spade review on the BR20M M1. Now, it's pretty much a copy and paste of the previous excuse me, BR20. Got something in my throat, to apologise. Um, but it does have two main differences from that variant. Obviously, I'll put the other one on the screen for you. It's only 600 lines. I don't care. Obviously the paint job is different, which doesn't really add much. But there is one other difference. This tail turret. This tail turret is a 12.7mm Bredicefat machine gun with 350 rounds. Personally, I didn't really feel much of an upgrade. That's subject to your own opinion, of course. But personally, I just think this bomber isn't really meant for being attacked. Well, it's not really meant to defend itself anyway. It's not exactly the best armed thing in the world, and it just didn't seem that great. I mean, it got the job done, which is entirely what a bomber should do. It's just one of those Joe average bombers. It gets the job done, and it can't really do much more. And with the defensive armament it does have, it's not exactly something that we can rely upon. But hey ho, it's low tier. German teams are actually pretty good most of the time, except for one match we had in this thing. So the BR20 is actually, well, the M model is actually one of the ones I wanted in game. So that's always nice, isn't it? Gaijin appeared to be listening to me about 5 months too late. Same with the AMD 35, I wanted that in game. But this aircraft is a minor upgrade to the BR20DR. And I mean, it's worth it if you like the 12.7 on it, but and also the different camouflage. But otherwise, this thing, you're not missing much, if that makes sense. So bomb loads. You get the exact same bomb loads as the BR20DR. Obviously 1250 stock, 12 100s, 4 250s, 2 500s, and 2 800s. Now the 800s are questionable because they, for some reason, some games you will one-shot a base with these 800s, other games you won't. That's obviously due to BR. Now, I honestly don't know why that is the case, because it's got enough explosive to deal with pretty much anything, but yet it can't one-shot a base at lower tiers, but a Catalina can with two 1000s. Well, no, sorry, a Hampton can, because obviously the Hampton has more explosive filler than the Catalina. I'm not sure, but even so, it's just one of those weird sort of things that you get at lower BRs for bombers. But like I say, if you are gonna go for the Italian bombers and this thing's in your way, I mean, you can research and spade it, yeah, but you ain't missing much, is all I'll say. It's a nice plane, but you're not missing much. But this is just my opinion, obviously, that you have your own. So, let's jump into the battle and let's have a look at what I got to in the BR20. Now, if I remember rightly, this was my first or second game in the thing. Obviously, DT2 will be making another cameo appearance. He's obviously the new Stan Lee. You will be seeing him for quite a few spades. Specifically the M3A3, you'll see him in. I believe you'll see him in the LVT spade review. I'll be doing the M3A3 later in the afternoon, so you'll get this. You'll get this first, the BR20, and then you'll get the M3A3 in the afternoon at 4:30 UK time. So, obviously, I believe I'm stuck in this battle. Obviously, it's a BR20. It gets the job done. It's a nice bomber. But we noticed this thing has a very good climb rate. Because we haven't flown a BR20 in a while, so it's nice to jump back in this thing, well, in a model of it, and find that it actually climbs pretty dang decently for a twin engine medium. So obviously, the plane itself, it maintains level flight speed when stock of about 200 miles an hour. That's pretty average, to be honest, because it's a BR where you're not going to have the fastest bombers in the world. I mean, there's Ju-88s, that's really it. But to be honest, if you're using this thing for a high-speed bomber, you're wasting your time, personally. This thing's not a high-speed bomber. It can dive really well, we found. It can dive to about 340 miles an hour pretty dang well. It's just we don't think that this plane is... I mean, DTT loves it because it's a bomber. But I just don't think this thing is... What's the word? It's just one of those spades where you just know it's going to be that sort of style. So I've dropped 6 bombs there on that truck convoy. Obviously, there's the bombs there in the bomb bay. And like I say, it's just one of those spades where, like, you could skip it and not really be missing much. And that's really the main thing. If they'd added it when the Italian Air Force came in, that'd have been understandable, but they didn't. I mean, this plane's coming like, what? A year, 2 years after the Italian Air Force was added to War Thunder? And obviously, most people skipped the BR-20 because they didn't think it was that good of a bomber. I personally think it is. It's a good bomber. So, obviously, I've got 4 ground targets there on the vehicle convoy. I think I get another 1 or 2 when the bombs land on the base. Yeah, I got another 2. A AAA truck and a Caissons. Bit of base bombing, but obviously the 50 kilo bombs are not enough to take out a base when stocked. The 100s are, the 50s ain't. So at this point, obviously this F-2222 starts turning towards us, and I start obviously thinking, right, gunship mode activate, but the F-2222 isn't willing to play. I let off a light burst with the 12.7, but that's really it. So at this point, obviously, I've dropped my payload, DTT's dropped his, and we're going to be making our way back to our base in a moment. And this is where you'll see the dive speed of this aircraft. It does apply to the other variant, the DR. They share the same flight model, as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, this plane can dive pretty well. It can do good with its bomb load. I mean, it's not going to beat a 111 in terms of payload. In fact, I think the 111 beats it by about 0.4 of a ton. But obviously, you've got to take into account explosive mass. So theoretically, this thing's carrying more payload for less payload, if that makes sense. Because obviously, it's not done by tonnage, it's done by explosive mass now. So obviously, I've throttled back because I didn't want to risk the dive speed. But you can still see 270 miles an hour. That's pretty alright for a bomber, this BR. But of course, we just don't know where our team went this game. Our team just didn't... Well, they just start dying, and we really don't know why. We do win this battle. Spoiler alert. But we just don't see where our team started to go wrong. I mean, a Key 27 just shot down a P-26 on the enemy team. But we've already lost 2 planes in a matter of seconds. Now it's 3, and we just don't understand where it went to this sort of bad situation. So obviously, I'm going to skip the landing part. Landing this thing is just like landing any other twin engine medium bomber. It's simple, just throttle back, keep enough airspeed so that you don't stall it, landing gear down. Standard procedure, really. Nothing special. You will have to watch when you're landing, though, because this thing has a lot of lift. Especially when you use flaps. As DTT fans out there, it just goes sailing overhead. I put my nose in the dirt because I was too busy checking stat cards, and I left the brakes on. But, that's really where it gets to. But as you can see, our team's just gone, and we have absolutely no idea what had happened. Obviously, me and DTT had done our job. The Ju-88 there had actually done nothing. And the BR-20 on our team, the other BR-20, had cleaned up the ground forces, well, the other bases that we had left to deal with. But like I said, it's just a Joe average spade. Nothing serious, nothing special. You ain't missing much. So obviously I'm wheels up here at this point. This thing does climb a bit slowly when stock. Once you get it spaded, the speed doesn't increase by much, especially if you put the 800s on it. But it's at this point where Handsome Joe in his P-36A Rasmussen's is coming to come and have a play. Now obviously the Key 27 down there is out of ammunition, and the only other fighter is a CR-32, and he's just crashed. Hooray. Obviously I turn back towards DTT so we can get 2 guns on him with the dorsal gun. And we didn't know who the P-36 was going to go for originally. So obviously I'm obviously just flying towards the ETTs. Handsome Joe's coming towards me. This is where I make the turn towards the ETT. Or as we have to refer to him in the sky as Toe, because his username used to be the Toe of Bo. But he had to change it for obvious reasons. But he ends up going for Toe. Obviously DTT, but that's just how he prefers to fly by. Personally, it's his choice. But he tail sits DTT here. I open up the 7.5 in the front. But he shoots down DTT, yet he took at least 50 bullets to the engine. And his engine's still working. And here comes a Chung 28 who actually gets the kill on me, which I think is bullshit because, well, it's a Chung 28. The guns suck. And yet, he gets much better results than I ever did with that piece of crap. So at this point, lower gun has just been shot in the face. And I'm pouring shots into the P-36 here, but his engine's still working. Obviously, he's going for my engines now. But he's still able to fly at an airspeed to keep with me, yet he's got a dead engine. Obviously, here comes the Chung, who has just killed my top gunner. And the P-36 is going to crash. I'm going to get a kill on him. But it's funny how the Chung can rip me to bits, and yet my Chung's guns never did this shit. I dropped the bombs to try and bomb the little shit, but I can't. And obviously, with our CR-32 friend not coming, well, he's dead obviously, not coming to help. The Key 27's on the way, the Hawks just crashed, so I get the kill. The right engine is about to fail, the left engine is not far behind. And I'm taking an absolute pounding from this Chung 28. But it's funny though, because he one-shots my gun, and yet my Chung's guns never did that. Checked his stats anyway. I mean, he was spading, so I've got to give him credit, but at this point though, the right engine has pretty much failed, the left engine's failing, so I decided to just put the plane down. And of course, the Chung gets the kill. I believe the Key 27 shoots him down, and I don't get the assist on it. For some reason, the Chung decides to come back at me to try and strafe me out. Yeah, I'm already dead, and he's got the kill. But it's quite clear I'd done some damage to his engine. But, whatever. And that's really just the average spade that I had with this thing. Just average. And I can hear a motorcycle, so if you do hear that, I do apologise. But, yeah, pretty average spade really. Nothing special, just an average bomber spade really. So let's go over the stats of the aircraft, and we can go from there, and I can just say if it's worth it or not. Which, I mean, 2 deaths, 1 air kill, 6 ground targets, and I believe 2 bases. That got the thing done. It was pretty normal for a bomber spade. Like I said, though, I think this aircraft is worth your time if you're a bomber pilot. Otherwise, I just don't see this thing being much of an upgrade. I mean, the 12.7 is nice, but when you get bullshit like that Chung, who can one-shot your gunner, yet my Chung's guns never did that. It's just a matter of opinion, really. But anyway, I'm gonna let you guys off. I hope you enjoyed today's spade review on the BR20M M1. Like I say, just an average bomber spade, really. That's all you can expect out of it. Obviously, next spade review for you will be the M3A3 Stuart, and I will see you all then.